Trump's latest policy 180 on the war in Ukraine could strike deep into Russian territory. It's such a stark change, it is perhaps forgivable the messaging is garbled. U.S. President Donald Trump is considering supplying Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, according to his Vice President JD Vance. "We are having conversations this very minute about that issue," Vance told Fox News Sunday, adding Trump will make a final determination. Trump's envoy to Ukraine, Kellogg, said the same day he believed Ukraine had the authorization to strike deep into Russia. "Use the ability to hit deep," he said. "There are no such things as sanctuaries." Kellogg later clarified his remarks as only referring to public statements from Vance and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and not a fresh insight into White House thinking. But Trump's team are either seriously considering supplying Tomahawks, whose very nature means they are really only for long-range strikes into Russia, or they want everyone to think they are. 43 days ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin was walking on a red carpet into the beast in Alaska. But now the Kremlin are having to respond to the idea of the U.S.'s most effective long-range missile being supplied to a foe that, only 7 months ago, Trump said, had no cards. Days after Trump's Truth Social posting that Ukraine could take back all occupied territory, this is another policy 180, but one with long-range teeth. First made famous in the 1991 Gulf War, the Tomahawk is reserved for the U.S.'s closest allies, including the United Kingdom and Japan. Its 4 models range up to the latest version, Block 4, which can feed back live information on targets below, permitting a change during flight. The U.S. would not supply the weapons, but instead sell them to Europe to pass on to Kyiv. But have no doubt that will not allay Moscow's concerns the Trump administration is massively escalating and improving Ukraine's capabilities here. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said little about what he has called a sensitive topic. He knows Ukraine has already used long-range drones to damage Russia's oil refineries, to the point where gas shortages in the country are an established fact. Clearly, Kyiv is already able to strike deep into parts of Russia, where the war was meant to be a distant thing the poor died fighting. They have shown ingenuity can supplant sheer might and technology, with the use of tiny drones hidden in container housing to strike Siberian airfields in Operation Spiderweb. Yet Tomahawks would present a new order of challenge to Russia's air defenses. Government buildings in Moscow and grandiose Ministry of Defense infrastructure could become open targets. Is the plan ahead for what tacticians call strategic ambiguity? To allow Ukraine's growing long-range missile stock to claim responsibility for Tomahawk strikes, or even vice versa? Debris from missiles will likely point to the true culprit. It is unlikely U.S. involvement will stay hidden, and Moscow will be forced to try to respond in kind. But there are